That was pretty cool. Took an hour and a half to find our first fish. Oh, he loved that Robo Worm. Look at that, dude. Morning, everyone. Got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna hit this new pond. It's more like a reservoir. Want to see if there's bass in it. But the temperature's starting to come down. I'm hoping that starts picking up some bites. And I'm just gonna fish what I normally do. Start switching up some baits if it seems like they're being finicky. But there's a rainstorm coming for the next 2 days, so that could be a good thing. We're gonna have to wait and find out. But I'll see you out there. I'm a firm believer that there's a 10-pounder in every body of water you fish. I feel like that's a good mindset to have. It's an optimistic approach to fishing. That's a little too weedy. See if there's a spot up yet. Right here. Gonna start out with the Berkeley Power Hog on a Texas rig. And we're gonna fish this weed line. So being that this is a new location for me, the way that I approach them, if I don't start getting a lot of bites, is I move locations and I switch baits a lot. So after about 15 minutes, I decide to switch up baits to keep it going. I'm gonna go with the Yum Dinger, green pumpkin, use the 5-inch. Gonna use a spike weight to give it a little bit more of a drop. I'm only gonna use like 1 or 2 sections. Then you take your pliers and snip it off. And we'll put a band on it too. That way we can hopefully use it more than once. I mean, when in doubt, go wacky. So that's what we use. So I switch over to the Yum Dinger. Usually that's a really good bait. So again, I fished this spot about 20 minutes total, and then I decided to move on to the next one. Let's keep moving. Keep on moving down the trail. This is the point. Right here. I want to keep moving around. I want to keep switching baits. Once I can figure out what kind of bait the fish want, then I can stick with that bait and I don't have to constantly retie. So if it's plastics, I can pretty much stick with either a Texas rig or a wacky rig. And that's what I'm hoping. Let's change our bait. See a couple coming up, breaking the surface. See what they want to bite this morning. Now you'll see me switch back and forth between the Zara Spook, the wacky-rigged Senko, to a crankbait, and then finally to a Robo Worm. And the reason why I do that is because A, I'm not having a lot of confidence at this point. I'm not getting a lot of bites. So I'm switching a lot of baits. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know, that's what you should be doing, I believe. You shouldn't be just sitting there doing nothing. So we had a couple takes on Topwater, but they were small bass. We need the big ones. Try right along the bank here first. About 6 feet out in front of me is a little weed bed. And then past that, I start noticing that there's smaller bass hitting my bait, but they're too small to fit it in their mouth. So I'm thinking the bass are probably still deep. Maybe they haven't come in just yet, but I still want to keep moving spots and changing baits. Each spot I want to fan cast left to right, right to left. It doesn't really matter. And then changing how far and how short you cast. Change how long you let the bait fall, things like that. Each cast, start doing a different thing to see if you can trigger a bite. If you can trigger a bite, doing one of those things, remember it, and then try to repeat it. Going back to wacky. Have to add line to my leader. That's what I'm using. But the reason why I go back to the Senko and then finally the crankbait is because I'm on the completely opposite side of this point right now. So I don't know where the fish moved to. I don't know where they're holding. So I don't have a problem going back to a Senko or a bait that I used before if I'm in a different spot. Because if I go up to a spot and I'm fishing one bait, don't get a bite, and then go to a completely different spot, you know, you pretty much want to start all over. I only brought one rod, so I have to do a lot of tying. Maybe next time I'll bring 2 rods and put like 2 baits that I really want to fish that day on, and then switch between those. That would be a better tactic. It would save you a lot of time. But I kind of packed light. I kind of just woke up, grabbed something, and went.
Try crankbait. Let's try this dude.
So this is when I start putting on the crankbait. I'm trying to figure out if maybe they want more of a moving bait, but I think the bass just aren't biting. I think it has a lot to do with the conditions, and like sometimes the bass just won't be hungry and they just really aren't interested in anything. Like I've already sat out on the water and then all of a sudden I was just catching fish left and right, where like it took like 2 hours of nothing. But you have to be patient.
The fish are just so picky lately. It really has been tough this year. I know I've been talking about it, the drought and the lack of rain, but it definitely has an effect on fishing.
So like I was saying, sometimes you don't have a lot of time to fish these spots. So don't get married to a bait. Don't get married to a spot. Now, unless you're catfishing or carp fishing, you still kind of want to move around in a pond like this if you're fishing from the bank. I don't think it's good practice to get married to a spot or a location. You need to move around when you have a small lake like this and you have a lot of bank access and you're bank fishing. You should get in the habit of moving around and searching for the fish. Just like you do on a kayak or a boat, you need to do the same thing on the bank. You need to move and catch fish. You're not going to just sit at a spot because it looks good and the fish are just going to come to you. You have to go find it. And then you may pull out one fish and then that's it. So that means you need to keep moving. You have to go searching for those fish.
Looks like there's trout feeding out there. It's one thing I don't think most people know is that when trout are in lakes, they're not always down in the depths. They'll hover out in the middle of the lake on top of the water eating flies. You know, they still naturally want to eat flies. You know, that's what they eat when they're in streams. So when they're in lakes or bodies of water, they'll be out there feeding on flies. That's why when you see birds of prey come by, an eagle or a hawk, and they dive, or an osprey, they dive into the water. That's because the trout's feeding right on top of the water. That's a big one. Oh, I missed him. Damn it. Had one. I had the hooks in that guy. He's not going to bite again.
I've pretty much thrown everything but the kitchen sink at him at this point, and I'm still trying to find where they're at and what they want to feed on.
Give the Robo Worm a try. What's up, duck? What are you doing? Coming over to say hi? See if I have food? Oh, you're all coming over. What, do you guys think I have food or something? Am I the duck? The duck master? There's one. Whoa, big bass, big bass, big bass. On the Robo Worm. Big bass. Big guy, got him. There was a monster hiding in there. Oh, we got him. Oh my God. Look at this chunk. Look at this chunk. Oh, you inhaled it. Oh, look at him. Oh, he loved that Robo Worm. I got it out. Let's get him on the scale. Zeroed out. Oh, low battery. Oh, come on. Oh, look at that, dude. Thank you, buddy. All right. For the release, we won't keep you. Thanks, buddy. Yes. On the freaking Robo Worm. He couldn't resist it. That was pretty cool. It took an hour and a half to find our first fish. But it was a nice one. And of course the scale battery was dead. But man, that put a smile on my face when I got that big one. Robo Worm. Alright, that's gonna do it for today. Turned out to be a fun day. Got one bass, but it was a big one. You never want to underestimate the power of a worm. Yum dingers, Senkos, Robo Worms, Rage Tails, Berkeley Power Worms. Sometimes that's all they want. But thanks for coming along. Until next time. Fish on. Take care.